yucky, gloomy day, and I'm sure it is most of the state. So thank you for, I suppose, taking some time out of your day to listen to Jo and myself talk about future-proofing your business. So as we discuss at the start of all of our webinars, and if you do advisory services with Jo and myself, these are the 3 stages to enhance your business. So you've got that financial knowledge and awareness at the bottom, understanding your strategy, and then overcoming fears and limiting beliefs. Today, we're talking about those tier 2 and 3. So just remain open to new knowledge and the possibility of learning something today. This is part 2 of building your exit strategy. So make sure that you go back and watch part 1 if you didn't attend last time, and he's put the link to the YouTube replay in the comment section. Now, how to make the most of the day. Be open, listen and note your thoughts and reactions. Identify any blind spots or any self-limiting beliefs, because sometimes what you're going to be hearing might be a little bit different to maybe what you've heard in the past. Commit to trying at least one concept or action. Jo and I always say when we speak to people, don't try and do 20 things. You're never going to then get any of them done. Just pick one, do that, and then you can always come back and choose something else after you've achieved that. Ask any questions, utilize us while we're here. Set yourself an accountability action, so the magic step, and we're going to touch on that at the end before we finish up. And if you need us, make sure you book in with us if you need any help. Now, if you, just some housekeeping, if you get disconnected, make sure that you just refresh the screen and you'll be able to come back in and try to remain free from any devices so you can absorb all the information that you can as you go. I haven't missed anything there, Jo, have I?
No, I don't think so. Probably just the only thing, if it hasn't automatically appeared on the right-hand side of your screen when we said ask your questions there, feel free to ask them and put them in during the session. We'll see them come through live in the chat box. So if that's not appearing for you, just click the little arrow on the top right-hand corner. That'll pop up and you can put your messages in there. So either hold them to the end or put them in while you think of them. That's fine.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful. So there's no time like the present. The best time to start making improvements in your business is right now. So not only can you improve your current experience in business for yourself, you can make your team's experience better, you can make more profits. And what we see linking with the previous webinar is that we see a lot of people get to the end of their life cycle in business and they go to sell and they leave a huge amount of dollars and have a huge amount of stress on the table to try and sell their business. So why go all the way through that to have, a business that then you make amazing just to sell it? So we kind of say there's no time like the present to be making improvements in your business.
And we referred back to the renovation. The really good analogy on this is renovating your house, isn't it?
Yeah,
like people always renovate and do their house up when they go to sell it, and then they sort of think, oh, why didn't I do that when I was living in it? And I could enjoy these freshly painted walls or new carpet or whatever. You can't enjoy it if you're not in it and you sell it. So start doing it now.
Definitely. All right, so a bit of a recap on last time so that we can segue into where we're going with today's webinar. So we discussed the 3 characteristics of a business that gives you more flexibility and more profit. So they were, obviously more profit, more time, space and energy, and just having a greater level of enjoyment. We spoke about that business owner ceiling. So are you that center of the universe for your business? Do your staff see a future for them, for themselves in the business? Do you have systems and processes stored in your head, or are you doing bespoke work for bespoke prices? We then spoke about the 4 pillars to create more freedom and flexibility, being make yourself redundant as a business owner, design clear and attractive pathways for your team, develop bulletproof systems and processes, and knowing your ideal client and services. And then we also spoke about 4 practical tips that we were suggesting to implement, being keeping a center of the universe list, starting one-on-ones with your team, review your current workflow process, and rank your client base and product offerings.
And hopefully some of you, because at the end of the last one, we went and asked you to pick one of those things to go and have a go at and to implement. And hopefully you've taken that away, done that and had some outcomes there or had a crack at doing that.
Yeah, I know. I've spoke to a few clients that have, and it was good for more about the center of the universe list. And it was good for people to kind of step back and have a look at how they're standing in their own way, essentially. So definitely, hopefully, that's been some use to people. Beautiful. So today we're going to focus more on future-proofing your business. But first of all, we wanted you to tell us what you think this means. So if you could write in the chat box what future-proofing means to you in one word. We have our ideas of what it is. So we're going to kind of go through that in the next couple of slides. But if you could, type into the chat box one word that you think it means to future-proof your business. Or a sentence if that's a little bit easier.
Here we go. Well done, Nicola. You're the first one. Austin, well done.
Oh, true for stability. I love
it. That's great. That's great. Now, of the 20 odd people that are in here, I can see a list, so I can pick names out if you like. But one more, maybe one more suggestion for one word if we can. There we go. Awesome, Shirley. Thank you very much.
I like that.
Manage and plan for it. That's really good. Really good. Keep adding them in if you'd like to.
Definitely. So what? Oh, you go, Joe. You go.
No, that's fine. So what future proofing means to us? This is our definition. Is staying ahead of the curve. So Tam and I had a bit of a chat about this a couple of weeks ago, and we thought, what does it mean really? How can we put it in one sentence? And we think it's staying ahead of the curve to ensure your business can adapt, grow and succeed, no matter what the future holds. And I think we've had Jed, thanks very much, mate. You've put in growth. That's in there as well. Anticipate change. To me, that's adapt and planning, and stability comes from all of those things, I think, as well.
Definitely.
So that's awesome. So that's the first part of it.
Oh, sorry, we both clicked that.
Don't touch it. The second part to this is communicating and building that with your team, because your employees are the driving force behind adaptability, growth, and success. If you've got a team of people and you're the only one focused on those things, then more than likely they're not going to be able to read your mind. And we're going to touch on that a little bit in the future. So this one's really about, as Tam said, last time we spoke, one of the key things we spoke about was building your team and making that communication with them really strong. This is really where we're honing in on in this one, because we think that's probably the biggest part of this future proofing, is having your team on board and aware of where you're going.
That's right. And as I said to you last night, Joe, you can have the best laid plans as a business owner for your business and your future and your team. But if you don't communicate that with the team, then you're going to continue to tread water. You're not really going to get anywhere, because they're the ones that come in around you and support you and help you execute those plans.
Yeah. So be honest with yourself. This is one of these ones where we say, if you rub up the wrong way against something, that's okay. This is part of the reason we do this sort of stuff, is to create a bit of friction, because with friction there comes a bit of discomfort, and then we hopefully change. So be honest. Have you ever caught yourself saying the following, or asking yourself the following questions about your team? Why don't they get it? Why don't they see the bigger picture? Why aren't we on the same page? There's any number of different ways you can ask that same question. I think you know what we're getting at there. But I suppose we always turn that around and we think, okay, start with yourself first, because that's the best place to start. You know yourself, and you can examine yourself and what you're thinking better than anyone else. So start with yourself. What about if you ask yourself the question, what is it that you're talking about in the previous one? What is the bigger picture? What page should we be on? So even if you know those things and you're clear on that, and to be honest, Tam, you can comment on this as well, I would suggest 80 to 90% of business owners that we talk to are somewhat aware, I would say, of those three things, but certainly not what I would deem to be clear on those three things.
No, definitely not.
But even if you are really clear on those things, this comes back to the mind reading part. Have they been built with or communicated with the team? So best case scenario, built with, but at absolute minimum, have they been communicated with your team? Because again, they can't see what's in your head.
That's right. And I suppose it comes back to, you need to know what direction you want to go in and where you want to take the business. So you need to be really clear in that, and then communicate that with the team and or build it with the team so that they're coming along for the ride and they've got some input, and then you're going to be all on the same page.
The other thing I would say with this too is that the other thing we see is that often bigger picture and page change day to day, which is really challenging for you and for your team. So, and not to say that your strategy or the way you go about things or where you're going shouldn't be flexible, but it shouldn't be bungee cord.
No.
It should be relatively in the same spot. Maybe it adjusts a little bit from time to time. We'll come back to that, and having a process around that and looking at it, making sure it's flexible and adaptable without being at the other end of the spectrum.
Definitely. So you don't build a business, you build people, and then people build the business. And Jo and I thought that this was a really good quote to link with this webinar today, because your biggest asset in your business is your people. Whether you want to sell it, whether you want to just improve it, whether you want to have a better work-life balance, your team members are the biggest asset that you have. So you really need to invest in them. You need to and they need to know where you're going and how you're going to get there to be engaged in the process. Then once you're clear on where you're going, obviously communicating that, and then you can be able to have a plan going forward.
Yeah. I also just love this guy's name, Zig Ziglar. I think it's the coolest name ever.
It is.
He's got some really great stuff. he's from a little while ago. But some of the ideas are still very, very powerful and relevant.
Definitely. So how do we actually physically start to know how to create that strategy of where we want to go and how we're going to get there, Jo? How do you take clients through that?
Yeah, and this is what we really want to give you today. Like we've got a little bit of the webinar left. We really want to give you two really practical things and tools you can take away to use straight away. So that's what we're going to cover off after we've gone through this part. And this is a model we use called Now, Where, How. And it's all about, I suppose, providing context as to where we are now. A lot of businesses move straight to the how. So that's putting out fires. It's okay, well, we think about this and we'll go straight there. We'll deal with that issue as opposed to looking at the bigger picture. Or they'll start to go down one direction and realize, okay, we haven't considered this other thing. Maybe we've got to go back and start again. So what we suggest is that we go to the where to start with. Instead of skip over the how for a minute and just go to the where. Some people refer to that as their vision, their mission, 5-year goals, 5-year plan, whatever it is. It's the future. What do we want it to look like in the future? Whether that be, and if 5 years is too far away from you, start at 12 months. That's fine. But what do we want it to look like? And then we can move back to the how.
And this is a really good thing to be doing at this time of year. We're rolling into the end of financial year, and everyone, generally needs a bit of a break at the moment. So you can then come back next year and reset.
I hope we're rolling into the calendar year. I think you mean into Christmas.
Yeah, I wish.
We're well past the financial year.
Sorry, end of the calendar year.
They all roll into one.
They do all roll in.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to run through is an incredibly valuable tool. We use this in all our strategy stuff with our clients. Is vision mapping. Very simple. We keep this very straightforward. So we don't need a whole heap of different models and tools. We just need a few questions to talk through. And what we're saying here is to engage and inspire your team, you need to know where you're going as a business owner and where you're going. You're the leader. In order for them to follow, you need to make space for them to follow. You need to start moving towards the destination. And obviously, to move towards that destination, you need to know where it is. So Stephen Covey, as part of his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, speaks about one of the things is begin with the end in mind. That's one of the 7 habits. So ask yourself, what does my business look like 5 years from now? Now, this is not something you're going to be able to sit down and do in 5 minutes. It's something that you're probably going to need to think about over a number of weeks even. Don't assign an hour on a Friday afternoon or a Monday morning to do it. It's very, very difficult to do. You need to sort of think through each thing and just do it gradually over a period of time. So give it some time. Don't put that pressure on yourself.
No. And if 5 years seems too much, if 5 years is too far away for you, bring it back to 3 years or even 1 year, as Joe said before. But it needs to be further than next week is where we want to be, if that makes sense. So try and push yourself out to, at least 1 year, but hopefully 3 or 5, and that will help stretch your thinking a little bit.
And we know we get it. Like, we know the time of year, we're in the same boat as well. It's busy between now and Christmas. So what we're suggesting is you sort of mull over this sort of stuff. Now, hopefully you get a little break, even if it's a couple of days between Christmas and New Year, or a week or so, where you can stop and you can take some time and take stock to think about it. And then you can start to make some notes around this stuff. And when we go through this in a minute, you'll see it's not that detailed. There's a few questions to answer, but once you've got the answers to these, you'll pretty well have the answer to the question, where's it going to be in 5 years?
Definitely. Now, Amy's going to be putting these templates as handouts on the right-hand side. So make sure you go and download them while you're in here. So the vision map is a handout that we have, and you've got 15 questions to answer to help you stretch your mind as to what you want things to look at within finance, the market, products and services, people and passion. So there's 15 questions for those 5 different answers, or 5 different questions, sorry, for you to be able to fill out an answer, and it will help give you that direction that you need long term.
Yep. And this is the sort of thing where, so just keep it on your desk or keep it somewhere handy in your notebook, or however you do that. Keep it electronic if you go that way, and just fill it in as you think of the stuff. Make little notes in there. There's a little spot to answer there. You can write as much or as little as you like. I've got clients that we complete this and I'll just write a sentence or a couple of words. I've got clients that come in and they've got pages of stuff that we run through. We've got to simplify down. That's fine. Whatever works for you. Don't get in the way of that. Just do what works for you. Okay. And it runs through. The reason that this has been designed this way is that it really covers off all the really key aspects of your business. Like, within all these things here, you've pretty well covered everything that you go through in building a strategy that a big corporate business, a listed company, would go through in building a strategy. And then a bit more of a prompting question about that. So, there might be some other things about growth, profit and funding that you think of as well that aren't in there. That's okay. Make notes about that as well. Great. So that's number 1. Take it away. We've had a number of people download that. Please click and download that on the right. Take that away. That's for you to use. It's a very powerful tool. So supercharging your SWOT. I'm sure everyone has heard of the SWOT analysis. I think I heard about it first in business management in VCE, and then I heard about it in university. Then I've heard about it in business plans, and all the way through. It's a tried and tested thing. It's a very good way of, again, summarising what's going within your business, looking at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and your threats. So doing that in and of itself is not a bad thing to do, but we reckon you can take it one step further.
Absolutely.
And it is a great way to summarise where you're at. And this is massively underutilized because people stop at that first part and just go, well, here's all these 4 things, and that's good. We'll just put that over there.
Well, they really just look at the strengths and weaknesses. I have a lot of people that look at the strengths and the weaknesses, forget all about the opportunities and threats. So you're not even, completing that whole circle of a SWOT.
Yep. Oh,
but you're right. No, you're all good.
So go for it, Tam. Sorry.
So what we say when we say supercharge your SWOT, you can see on the left-hand side and up the top, you've got those initial, listing your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. And then what we want you to do is ask some questions. So again, you've got another handout that Amy will put in, which is a template for this SWOT analysis. Now, Joe, I'll get you to go to the next slide. Ask yourself 4 questions.
This is the bit. This is the supercharge part.
That's right. So this is the magic step of identifying that, working through that SWOT. So how do I use the strengths to overcome these threats? What should I do to ensure that the weaknesses don't spoil the opportunities? If the weaknesses combine with these threats, what corrective action will I need to take? And how can I use my strengths to commercialize the opportunities? So in each of the boxes, I'll just get you to
Yeah,
go
we'll go
back to it.
one. Yep.
You can see where all of those boxes cross over with each other. You want to answer those questions in there. And just by, I suppose, supercharging that and really just thinking about how to leverage off each of those areas, you will be able to just have a really clear goal of where you want to get to and what you need to be focusing on.
Yeah, these things here, these things in the middle, and you can see here that the way you fill those in is, strengths, opportunities, they end up in the top left quadrant. Weaknesses, opportunities, they end up in the top right quadrant. So they are often actions that you can, or things that you need to focus in on. And we'd suggest you go through that. You might get some quadrants, again, when we do that exercise, some quadrants only have 1 or 2 things. Some quadrants have 10 things. That's great. Doesn't matter. Go through, there's no right or wrong here. Go through and fill them in. And then we use another thing, which we're not going to run through now, called Pareto, which is your 80-20 rule. So we just pick the top 3 or 4 things that come out of that as, okay, well, they're the ideas and the things we want to focus in on. Again, the whole idea of we can't focus on 20 things and get 20 things done in here. We've got to focus on the things that bring the most bang for buck, the 20% of things that brings the 80% of the results.
Definitely. But just going through this whole process is going to give you a huge range of ideas, strategies, and actions to be able to build from. It's not, and again, pop that up on the wall, as Joe said, with your vision map. Pop that up there so that you can continually just focus on those. Use Pareto, choose, your top 2 or 3, just that you just really want to focus on, and then you can always come back to the next layer and the next layer from there.
Perfect. So our vision is only actionable if we share it. Without sharing, it's just a figment of our imagination. Another really powerful quote, Simon Sinek. He's been very popular over the last few years with his why stuff. Start with why, all that sort of stuff. Again, people cannot they can't read our minds, and we often think we've got it very clear in our minds, but until we go and write it down or talk through it, whatever works for you or both, it's not necessarily that clear. And that's often the feedback we have from running through sessions with people is, oh, that's so much clearer now. Just having talked through what was in their head, okay, it's much clearer.
Yeah.
And in order to communicate it well, it's got to be clear.
100%.
So coming back to where we were at the start, starting point is today. Again, moving to the where, just give me over the how for a second, complete that vision map and the strategic SWOT, capture the key points out of that. So the key 2 or 3 things from each one of those things, and then summarize them, communicate them. And we're suggesting, if you're comfortable, doing that with your team or key leaders in your business at a minimum. Communicate that to the team, not just once, but continue to as well. But that's another bit of common feedback. I've already said that, or you're going to have to keep saying it, keep talking about it, and then review it as well. So put in place something. Within our business, we do that quarterly. We review how we're going for the year, make any changes if we need to, keep rolling next 90 days.
That's right. And just have 1 or 2 things that you want to be focusing on at each time. Beautiful. So how does this actually future-proof your business? So future-proofing is to adapt, grow, and succeed. So your team is that driving force behind that. And you and your team can't achieve that without a clear direction or destination. Remember to begin with the end in mind, and then take one more. So that's that vision mapping, and then take that one more step, supercharge that SWOT. Regular, clear, and consistent communication with your team, but then also reviewing and repeating that process as well.
It should just be a regular rhythm.
That's right.
Review and review. We communicate regularly. It doesn't mean you need to be a robot and do it every week at the same time in the same way, but same theme. And again, that's the reason we keep it simple. We can't remember 20 different talking points, but we can probably remember 2 or 3 key things that we want to build our business around and where we're going. And if people have those key 2 or 3 things, then they're much more likely to be able to make better decisions. And you'll get less of that, they're just looking and worrying about today, because if they know where you're going, they can take that into account.
Well, that's right. If they're interested, inspired, and engaged, they're going to contribute more to the business, aren't they? That's what we see a lot of, is that a lot of staff members that have no idea where they're going, they're not engaged within the business, they're the ones who quite often the business owners are complaining about, because they're not getting it, or they're not on the same page as the business owner.
Okay, so how can we help? We said we'd have an exclusive offer for you. Here it is. This is Next Gen. We're starting this next year. Along with our BizIQ and Profits Plus programs, these are our 3 programs that we're running ongoing. And it's designed for businesses looking to empower their team. So to grow leaders and to train leaders and help, again, do exactly what we're talking about within what we've just spoken about for the last 20 minutes. Streamline operations, create profitable, self-sustainable operation. So if you're ready to increase your profit, increase your enjoyment, increase your time and flexibility. Again, these are all things we spoke about last webinar and are applicable across the board. I'm assuming all these things are attractive to most people, I would hope. Create a valuable and saleable asset in the future. And we're talking about your business there. And if you attend to the last one, you'll remember the last webinar, you remember that the business that we went through there, the differential that we were talking about there was not a few dollars, it was millions of dollars. So just keep that what's at stake here is significant. And probably more so is that enjoyment for me and for time and flexibility that comes, that brings that enjoyment. So PTB Next Gen is for you if you're looking for those things and you're looking to build leaders within your business. So what you'll learn from Next Gen is how to step away from your business confidently and prepare it for profitable sale if that's where you're going. Powerful techniques to develop your upper management team or your leaders within your business to run it for you, with you in there or not. Essential tools to create a strong and sustainable business structure for long-term growth was one of the things that was suggested as future-proofing is being able to grow, and proven management techniques to empower your team and enhance performance across the board.
Want to also just highlight that it's not for if you're just wanting to sell your business. This is for if you've got managers in your business and you want them to step up and help you. This is the type of program that is perfect for it. Not just to think about, in the future when I go to sell, this is a really good thing.
Yeah.
So what does the program include, Joe?
So it's a number of things. It's a combination of one-to-one stuff, so individual coaching with the business owner and the team, as well as group stuff. And the reason we've designed that is that the group stuff is powerful for accountability and learning. So we can teach concepts, run through things, share experiences, collaborate, all that sort of stuff. The one-to-one stuff is more, okay, how does this apply to my business?
Yeah.
So
I was just going to say the group stuff's also that power of community. If your managers are part of community with other managers going through the same thing, having the same challenges, implementing things in their business, they're going to learn so much more from each other through the process.
For sure. So one-on-one coaching, half-day strategy sessions. We do some face-to-face workshops through the year. Whoever's a member of this will be able to attend our BizIQ and be part of the BizIQ programs. It's another 4 quarterly sessions a year as well on top of that. So we've got 8 group sessions there for the year. Online learning and business tools. That's through our Mindshop online platform that we're members of. Awesome courses and online stuff there if that's how your team learns really well. And we'll probably utilize that for a little bit of that. And it's more of an additional thing. So we've already had a few people going through this program individually. So we just got a testimonial there from Kyron. Thank you very much, Kyron, for doing that. So some huge value there. I won't go through and read that. But we'll send that through following on. I think,
I suppose, Joe, the thing is it's a very high touch point program, isn't it? You get a lot of exposure to the two of us.
Yes,
absolutely. One-on-one coaching, that's monthly with each of them, as well as, monthly, group Zooms and the strategy sessions to create the plan and things like that. So it's very high touch point, a lot of support from Joe and myself.
Yep. Okay, we're accountants. We hate selling stuff. We are absolutely not used car salesmen. But we've got to tell you the price of this program. So we're going to take you through that now. We're going to do it in a way that hopefully communicates that value that's in there, because we think there is a huge amount of value there. But we do want to deliver those who have made the time to come along and attend that, and extend it as an offer to you to get into this program. A little bit for a little bit less investment than those who will later. So the program is genuinely valued at over $35,000. If you would do this program individually with Tam or myself or Jeff, the business would be paying $35,000 across the year at a minimum. So it's huge value. We're going to price this going forward at $19,800 per year, or $1,650 a month. And we're going to, for webinar attendees only, knock a relatively significant amount off that. So we're going to knock $220 a month off that. And if you join with us, if you would like to join us within the program for the 5 spots only, again, this is only a small group. We're not talking about 20 people here. This is a small discussion group and forum, so that everyone gets their time. We don't want a huge group of people. If you join us before the 30th of November, so we've got 4 days, so the end of the week effectively, then we will knock that $220 per month off, and you'll be able to take it up at $1,430 per month for the year. Okay, so don't hesitate. We've already a couple of people we're talking to that are actually attending the webinar today, so that I'm assuming a couple of those spots will get taken. So if you're interested or you'd like more information, please let us know. Amy will send some information out with the follow-up email at the end of this, but please jump on board. Don't hesitate. The final thing, and thank you for putting up with us for that. We wanted to run through that in a bit of detail so you could see that and understand exactly what we're offering, but thanks for putting up with us for a couple of minutes. So complete that magic step. Pick your key action or your thing that you've taken away from today that you think, yep, I'm going to go and do something with that. If you'd like to, click on the Calendly link. Amy will put that in the chat box now. That will just allow you to book a time with us. It's got my name there, but it'll be with Tam or I to run through exactly what you're doing. And all we'll do on that call is basically say, okay, what's your action? And help and coach you through how you're going to get that done or any barriers that might be in the way there. Happy to do that for you again for attending today, if you'd like to do that. Okay, we're a couple of minutes over. If there are any questions or comments, we're happy to hang around. Otherwise, we'll let you get on with your day. Hopefully you've had your time to have your lunch and have a listen, and hopefully that's been of value to you. Those couple of tools you can go and grab and run with it. Any questions or comments on any of that? I see we've got obviously Amy's had received a question and put it in the link here. Might get that up. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So the question was, how do I get my team involved in these activities? Hopefully the information we gave at the end there will help with if you want to join NextGen. Reach out about that. If you would like to just start improving the culture and the communication within your team, I'd suggest you just revisit the previous one. Look at the one we just did, obviously, but revisit the previous one, because we did discuss a bit more about how to have better one-to-one conversations instead of rhythm around that. So you can start doing that just yourself and come back to us if you have any questions. Feel free to do that. So hopefully that answers that question.
I think also, Joe, if you're going to do a strategic squash or the vision mapping, trying to get them involved as, from a staff level, what do they see as the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats? And generally speaking, when we go through it with staff, they have a different insight compared to the business owners. So just getting their feedback and their thoughts on things can help get them involved in the process and engaged with the outcomes as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I misread. Thanks, Tam. I misread that question. I think you're spot on. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It can be a bit, people get a bit thingy. I know that's not fantastic English, but people do get a bit thingy about, should I include my team in this stuff? It's business stuff. It's a bit confidential, and it is to a degree. But my view, and I think Tam's view on this, and I know Jeff's view as well, is that the benefit of including them in the discussions and sharing this stuff with them far outweighs the risk of sharing that information with them. So I would always suggest engaging them and including them as much as you possibly can in that. You'll get comfortable with it as you go.
And it can just be at an appropriate level for you. Like, if you don't want to show them the financial information, that's okay. You can show them other things or just discuss other things. You can still set sales targets and things like that without having to show them a full profit loss or something like that.
That's it. I think that's it. We haven't got any other questions that have come through. Thank you very much for everyone that's attended. Thank you to those who have. Austin asked a question there. If you want to, happy to answer that, mate. If you want to clarify what you mean there, or if Tam, if you can answer that if you can see that. But if you have attended these all through the year, thank you very much. We've run 4 of them. We'll continue to run them quarterly, so keep an eye out for it. Thanks for the engagement and the questions and coming along and having a listen to us. Hopefully, it's been of value to you. If we don't see you or talk to you beforehand, have a fantastic Christmas and holiday break with your family and friends. And yeah, we'll catch up with you in 2025, I should say. We're finishing 2024, aren't we?
Absolutely.
So, Austin, we might reach out to you afterwards, mate, if that's okay. We'll finish this up and let people get back into the day. Thanks, Tam.
No worries. See you guys.